Greetings, everyone, and a very warm welcome to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. Tom Poland here, beaming out to you from Noosa, Australia, joined today by Bri Seeley. Bri, many happy returns. Great to have you back on the show. Just remind me, where are you hanging out?
I'm currently in the middle of Arkansas house sitting for a dog, 2 cats, and 16 chickens.
Are you, and how's the egg supply this time of year?
Actually pretty good, especially considering how expensive they are. I'm loving the payment in free eggs. Very happy with it.
Fantastic. Breakfast is served. And how what's the weather like? We're just ending April. What's the weather like in Arkansas right now?
It is 83 degrees today Fahrenheit, which is quite nice.
Nice, very nice. Clear skies?
Yep, so
Lovely.
far.
All right.
Yesterday was
So far.
storms.
All right, folks, we'll get off geography and weather. Um, it was a delight to have Bri on my show probably about 3 or 4 years ago, Bri, I think it was. For those of you who don't know, she's a TEDx speaker, award-winning business coach who works with highly ambitious individuals to unapologetically create long-term sustainable success. And part of Bri's magic is to work with the invisible. So sometimes it just seems like you're doing all the right things externally, and yet things aren't clicking. It's just not going. You look around, you think others are doing stuff and they're getting results, and you're thinking, is there something hidden that I'm missing? And very often there is. And so we're gonna unpack that a little bit. The title today is How to Brainwash Yourself for Success. I love that. Bri, let's get into it. Valuable stuff coming up, folks. Shut down your email, shut down Facebook. This stuff is literally life changing. So worth giving you a good, putting both ears on. Bri, let's kick off. 7 minute starts now. Question number one is, who's your ideal client?
I work with super ambitious high achievers. They are smart, they're intelligent, like you said. They know what they want, they know where they're going, and oftentimes they're running into this invisible wall where they either know exactly what to do and they just can't bring themselves to do it, or they try to do it and they get blocked. Like it just they're smart people.
All right.
And for some reason, there's just, like you said, this invisible thing that just keeps getting in their way of the success they seek.
Question. Do you also find that you attract clients who know there's a higher level but don't seem to be able to quite get there?
Yeah, that as well. It's they've done maybe some of the mindset work, but
Right.
what they don't understand is that mindset is only 5% of the puzzle. So they're not tapping into 95%. I don't know about you. I would choose 95% any day over 5%. And
Yeah.
so they just don't
Unless,
know.
yeah, unless I was only paying 5% for something, but that might be slightly different.
But in terms of return on investment,
Oh, no, gotcha.
95%
Yeah. Yeah,
every
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're going to unlock that a little bit. Tell us, so you've told us a little bit about the problem you solved. Tell us a bit more about that. This is question two. Anything you want to add to that?
I mean, really what hypnosis does and what I've seen it do in myself and my clients is just accessing a different level of freedom, of being able to go after the things you want, of feeling unencumbered, of not talking yourself out of doing the things that you need to do for your success. So that's really the crux of it, is brainwashing yourself for
Right,
what you want in your
right.
life, rather than the brainwashing that we all received before the age of 8 that just happened by circumstance.
Right, right. Yeah, good, bad, and ugly. But you mentioned the word freedom, and folks, if we are talking about reprogramming your subconscious, my experience with hypnosis and whatever we want to put under that label is that it afterwards there is a sense of freedom, but there's also a sense of cleansing. It's quite surprising. I literally feel fresher and brighter, more focused, clearer. So in that sense, yes, freedom, but all of those things that seem to go with it as well. Um, what are some of the symptoms, would you say, that people who would benefit from your services, what's going on in their mind or in their life right now? The kind of the symptoms that will give them a heads up that this could be worth looking at.
I mean, it's really the people who are like, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing all the things that people say that I should be doing.
Right.
I'm really clear on what I want and where I'm going. what like oftentimes we turn inward then too, right? And it's like, what's wrong with me?
It
And
yeah, it's not like they're not getting any results. It's just there's nowhere near close to where they believe they should be or could be.
yeah,
Okay.
oftentimes the way I've heard it described is like a trickle versus like if you were to turn your water tap on just like the teeniest, tiniest
Right.
amount, like trying to
Yeah.
wash your
Perhaps
dishes with a trickle of
or
water is
or have a
like,
shower.
yeah, it's gonna take
Um,
forever.
so we're talking about assertive people. We're talking about people who are goal oriented that want to get ahead. That have been doing a lot of stuff. What would you say are some of the common mistakes that your new clients tell you that they've made? Just so we can save some people some anguish who might be listening to this.
Yeah, one of the ones I mentioned is sticking with mindset work. So if you're only working on the conscious brain, you're only addressing about 5% of the issue. A common visual to go with this is like an iceberg, right? You
Classic.
can see the little bit on top, but there's so much more underneath. And if you're not accessing those levels underneath, that like true lasting permanent change becomes really, really hard to do. So they may be into mindset, they're doing that, they're
Right.
consuming a lot, but not quite understanding why it's not making change.
It right.
Um,
Yeah. So to me, the affirmations and the visualizations, which I practice, can be very powerful. But to me, they're kind of like the cream on the cake. And if that's all you've got, you're still not at the cake. I'm sorry to mix metaphors, folks. We've had icebergs, now we've got cakes. But it's the hypnosis work that I've done with practitioners has gone so much deeper, so much more profound. And I go back to the affirmations and visualizations. It really feels like I'm sort of tap dancing somehow on the surface of things. And it's folks, this is not us sort of trying to sell something to you. It's just the reality of my personal experience over decades. Still believer in affirmations, visualizations, etc. But this stuff really goes a whole lot deeper. What
Yeah, and the reason it goes deeper is because we're getting to the root of where that pattern began, the memory, the experience from your past. And
bingo,
then what we do is we shift the perspective because the majority of those things that we experience were prior to the age of 8. So if you think about the life you're living today versus the life that your 8-year-old self was living, those are very different experiences,
mm,
but you're
mhm,
still living from the perspective of an 8-year-old or younger today. So the reason that it gets deep is because we're going back and we're literally teaching your brain a new perspective of how
right,
to assess the situation, which then gives you the freedom to come back to your life with a clear perspective. And part of the what I do with hypnosis as well is, so not to mix metaphors again, right? We go in, we weed the garden. We get rid of all the weeds in the garden. Then we till the soil. Then we plant what we actually want. If you want a bed full of tulips, you have to plant the tulips. But what we do is we plant the tulips for proverbially for 30 days. And you are literally like teaching your brain a new language, and you're learning the language of your desires and of your future every single day for 30 days.
wow, that's
It's cool.
that's a good makeover. So look,
It's good.
thank you for that. 1 minute left. I'm gonna, jump a little bit. Valuable free resource. Where can people go to learn out more about this?
BriSeeley.com/hypnosis. You're going to get access there to a free training that is going to teach you more about your subconscious. It's going to teach you more about how to
Cool.
access those parts and pieces and the science behind it all, because there is science behind
Okay,
it all.
so BriSeeley.com/hypnosis. It'll be under the video, but if you're listening to this on Stitcher or iTunes, BriSeeley.com/hypnosis. Last question, 20 seconds left. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Does this really work? So there's a lot. This is the unseen. This is the invisible, right? Like, does it actually produce results? I had a client come to me. She didn't believe she could be an entrepreneur. She desperately wanted to be an entrepreneur. We hypnotized her for success to be an entrepreneur. Literally less than 60 days, she closed her first $50,000 client.
Whoa, bingo. Bri Seeley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tom.
Cheers. Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www
5hourchallenge.com.